Thank you so much for everyone joining. This is the Tuesday Mindfulness Broadcast, and I'm Tiffany with Evolutionary Consulting. I work with folks on personal and professional mastery. And I wanted to talk today about judgment, and specifically around all of the many places that it hides in our lives. Mindfulness can be such a transformative tool to get present and to see the beauty and the magic that exists all around us and within each moment. And we practice that a lot here in the broadcast. And it can also be just as powerful to use as a transformative tool to see our own pain and the dissatisfaction in our lives. So it's not just about seeing the beauty, seeing what's pleasant, seeing what brings us joy. It's also about this anchor that can help us go into the places that hold such wisdom for us. And that is the area of pain and dissatisfaction in our own lives. And one of the ways that we magnify and intensify our stress and our distress is through judgment. And globally, it's not difficult to see the result of that. We can quite easily look around and see that when we place judgment on others, we place pain on others. There's pain in cultures. There's pain of our planet. That's pretty easy for us to look around and see. But what we don't often see is how that, if we are judging others, what that does to us. But more so, the constant self-judgment that we are bathed in all of the time. We don't so plainly see that, those judgments and those expectations. And not only do we not just see the judgment and the expectation, we don't see the pain that it causes within us. And there's a great, a while ago, I'd seen this cartoon, and it's this fish inside of a fishbowl inside, water, of course. And the fish is saying, "Water? What water?" And I think about that as we talk about judgment and expectation, and that we might think, judgment? I don't have any self-judgment. What judgment? And yet we are just literally bathed in it in so many ways. And it's just in that subconscious mind that we don't know it. And ways that it kind of shows up is when we think about ways that we should look. I'm 46, so what's appropriate for 46, right? Like, what should I look like? What should my body type be like? We think about how I should be working out. I should be doing more self-care. I should be more social. Even during this time of COVID, I should be doing more or be more involved. We think about the things I hear all day long. I should be doing this. I should be getting this done. I should be organizing my house or parenting differently. Where we should be financially. I'm married, and so this. I'm near the end of my career, and so this. And so we think about how things should be, what hobbies we should have, and how good we should be at them, how our bodies should look and feel. And so what was constant in that little example I gave is the shoulds. Should, when we hear that come out of our mouth or roll around in our head, should is a hiding place of pain, because it's where we store that judgment of ourselves. And the judgment and expectations are generally created outside of us by something else. So it might be our families of origin, religion, culture, gender norms, workplace norms. They're usually created outside of us, and we bring them inside without consciousness because we're just raised in it. We're bathed in it until it is this ongoing voice around how things should be, without a lot of us shining the light on that and saying, is this really how I want it to be? Is this accurate for me? When we hear that I need or I should, I want to invite you to use that as a red flag to say, oh, there it is. There's something that I can't. My hiding place just had some light on it. there is some of that should. And what is the expectation or the judgment that lies under that? And another place is when we get to observe our emotional state, we can go under that and say, well, if I'm feeling jealousy or if I'm feeling anger, is there a should or a judgment or an expectation that's under that? So, for example, I was working with somebody who is on a weight loss journey, and she had lost some weight and she was very happy about that. And of course, and as we started talking more about that, what was happening is that the happiness was because there was a should around how her body should be. I should look like this, and I'm getting closer to it, and so I'm happy about that. Not that we shouldn't feel joy. Of course, we can feel joy about meeting our goals, but can we relate that emotion to how it feels to be in this body, how it feels to have moved forward in a direction I wanted to move forward, how it feels to be in a body with less fatigue or, heaviness, like connecting it to something that is real for us rather than a constructed should. This is what I should be looking like. So those emotions can also serve as places for us to go a little deeper for those hiding places. So we're going to use our practice today to find some of our hiding spots of our judgment. And I also encourage you to take this practice with you throughout the next week or 2 weeks and just lovingly and gently discover those hiding places and go a little bit deeper. So when you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes or take a soft gaze. Allow your breath to do what it needs to do to come into that moment, into this moment. Perhaps you take a few deep breaths. Settle in, feel your body present. Allow your attention to just follow your breath, to not force it, just to follow it, like you're walking behind it, following it in, following it out, following each breath fully from its inception all the way through to a space of stillness, and then all the way through to completion. A mindfulness practice can serve as a wonderful place to explore where we hide judgment and expectations. There might be messages around what this should feel like, what your brain and body should be doing, how easy this should be. It's a wonderful place just to see that, observe that judgment and the stress it causes. And then invite yourself to let that go. Invite yourself to just be with your practice. And that knowing that some days that is a very busy-headed practice, a very busy-bodied practice. Some days for me it feels like just playing fetch. I'm just constantly going and getting my thoughts, bringing my head back here, going and getting my thoughts, bringing my head back here. And that however you show up is perfect. And we'll be quiet here for just a moment, following our breath, bringing our practice back to our anchor. Seeing judgment as it arises, and just to say, ah, there it is. Of course it's there. I'm going to let that go. And now we'll bring our attention to our body. Just doing a quick scan from the tip of our head to the tip of the toes. Fully being in this body. Noticing any pain or tension, any place of ease, of comfort. And again, noticing our judgments. Noticing our judgment of our own physical body. Ways that we use language to make it good or bad, right or wrong. How we dissect aspects of it and say, this is the part I like, this is the part I hate or dislike. And again, all the pain and the stress and the layers that come with that. Just breathing in acceptance. Allowing ourselves and giving ourselves permission to be in this body. To be with this body. We can transform judgments into just an observation through qualities. So this part of my body is, I feel pain. For example, it feels warm, or there's numbness. We're actually bringing attention to those areas rather than trying to go away from them. And now bring your attention into your emotional state. Another area that we hide a lot of judgment and expectation. Denying ourselves the ability to feel what we feel. Just see if we can be with what is without any judgment. Sometimes we hold an expectation that I should be happy. I should be thankful. And in doing so, that judgment denies us of the ability to sit in our wisdom, to be with what is. Can I just meet myself where I am? Bringing your attention back to your breath. This may be a place that you want to set an intention of how to use this work throughout the week. How to shine the light. I think of this as true freedom, when we can let ourselves go, when we can begin to see the self-judgment and let it go and transform it into acceptance. That's true freedom. And when you're ready, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe roll your shoulders back. Taking a big deep breath. Opening your eyes, bringing your gaze back. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next Tuesday for the Mindfulness Broadcast.